Good morning, y'all. I was reading Matthew 4 this morning and just had some thoughts. Matthew 4 is all about when Jesus is being tempted in the wilderness and Satan comes to him 3 times and it's like, if you are the Son of Man, turn these stones into bread. If you are the Son of Man, jump off this cliff. If you are the Son of Man, bow down and worship me. And Jesus combats his responses with scripture every single time, and eventually, Satan leaves, and the angels come and take care of Jesus. And so, I was reading that this morning, and it sounded familiar. Like what the devil was saying sounded very familiar. It's like I had heard it before, and so I then began to look through scripture, and it was the same thing that the people were saying in certain aspects of Jesus's earthly ministry when he was here on earth. In Matthew 27, when Jesus is on the cross, the people say, if you really are, if you're the Son of God, save yourself. When the people or the Pharisees are asking for a sign, they're asking for a sign to, for him to prove his authority. They're like, prove your authority by giving us a sign, all of these things. When I began to read those passages, I was like, it was interesting to me because, sometimes, I thought that Matthew 4 was just Matthew 4, yet Matthew 4, Jesus being in the wilderness, was preparation for his earthly ministry. And in that wilderness, he had to learn to die to self. He had to learn to literally kill his flesh, not even kill it a little bit. Like, he had to learn to die. And, when you look at the Israelites and they're in Egypt, they're in the wilderness, that's the same thing that happened. Like, they were there, they went to the wilderness to die to self, and they struggled dying to self, which is why they were in the wilderness for so long. They were supposed to be in the wilderness 11 days. That journey took 40 years, not 11 days, because, they could not get it together. And, but the wilderness is where you go to die. And how long do you want to be there? I know for me, I don't want to be in the wilderness forever, right? Either way, you're gonna have to get through it. Either way, whether you want it to be short or long, that's up to you. I will tell you though, dying to self it's not fun. And it's not easy, right? It's not this like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's not this glamorous thing. It sucks, right? Dying to your flesh. Jesus said, the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. It's so easy to want to gratify, the things of the flesh just for temporary satisfaction. That is easy, right? But dying to self, dying to your flesh, dying to your will, that is difficult, yet it's possible. And it's typically the opposite of what we would willingly want to do. So I know for me, especially when it comes to obedience, at this point, anytime, I feel the Lord is asking me to do something, I automatically say no. I don't even say yes the first time. I probably say no like twice, and then eventually I do it, just because naturally that's just it's not it, man. It's not my natural response. I don't think with anything that he's asked me to do, I've been like, yes, Lord. No, I at least say no once or twice before I do say yes. But it's that battle of flesh and spirit. My spirit, yes, is willing and wants to say yes, but that flesh, nah, fam, that is not it. And the more that, you go through the word and you read it, it's a lot of dying to self, right? Scripture says, not to love those who just love you, like even sinners do that, right? You are to love your enemies. That's going to glorify your Father. and your reward in heaven will be great. It's literally doing the opposite of what your flesh wants to do, and that's the way you kill it. That's the way that you die to self. And Jesus said, anybody that wants to be my follower, must deny themselves, pick up their cross daily. And so you make the choice every single day, hey, I have to die today, right? And even if you miss it, there's forgiveness for that for sure. And there's grace for that. However, that should not be a continual lifestyle of, oh, I missed it today, and I missed it yesterday, and I missed it the day before, and I missed it, okay. Mistakes do happen, but for it to be a continual mistake over, 2, 3, 5 weeks, 5 years, I don't know. So, but yeah, the wilderness is where you go to die. And it's not a glamorous thing, yet it's rewarding, because the wilderness, you don't just go there to die, but it's also preparation. Because what Jesus did in the wilderness, he was able to do in Matthew 28, right? What he did there by saying no, dying to self there, he was able to die to self in Matthew 28. So it all goes with you. And it's just simply about learning the lesson first. Once you learn the lesson, it's like, okay, I'm now prepared. And so, yeah, the wilderness is not fun, but you will get through it. You're not alone in the wilderness. The Lord is with you. You get to determine, I believe that you get to determine how long you're there, because it's about how well you listen and how well are you obeying what God is telling you to do. If you're not, obeying what he's saying, you can sit there if you want to. But through your obedience, that determines, how quickly you get out of the wilderness. We all go through it. We all go through the points of where we are dying to self, where we don't understand, yet the Lord is with you the entire time. So you're not alone, and you will get through it. It may seem like you're not going to get through it. You will get through it. You just, you have to put one foot in front of the other, obey what he's telling you. Have the faith to believe that, hey, eventually I'm going to get out of here. But there's something that he's trying to teach you in this moment. It's not always, well, God's punishing me. And sometimes he just wants you to die to self. He's trying to kill your flesh, right? And that takes time. So those are my thoughts this morning, and I wanted to share those with y'all. So yeah, you will get through the wilderness. I was going to say enjoy it. Hey man, it's painful, yet it's rewarding. So, yeah, you'll be good. You'll get through it, and just obey whatever it is that the Lord is telling you to. So, I'll see y'all soon. Love y'all.